Hey there, I am JP and welcome at the project of Islandia Islands. For today we are going to implement two different kind of transport system, which one of them is no longer in use for a reason while the other one still is, and gives a nice reason to have some movement going all over the place. Of course we are going to see what else we're going to do along the ride, and for this transport idea I have to thank Captain Misraji along with the rest of his comment. I really appreciate this. Keep them coming because it really helped out the series and to get closer to the future multiplayer server. Alright, now before I'm going to explain you all what is going on right down here along with the transport system, I have to go to the nightclub and change something, because Captain Misraji also gave an idea for, the toilet, which makes it look a lot better than this washing machine down here. So I'm going to remove that and place down a cauldron with some water in it, and then on top a toilet seat. I think this works way better. Just like that. Beautiful. Thank you a lot for that. Alright, so first, what in the world is going on with this down here? And I'm thinking of it, I also got a surprise for you guys. This surprise is actually something that I've been talking about in the last episode that I really wanted to do, and that has all to do with this right down here. I've been saying it would be nice to have like a secret garden within this support pillar. I'm going to show you more about that in a minute. Basically, as you can see, I have been adding a couple of other parts of the support pillar. Now right down here, it's going to be one build on top. This is not going to be everything. There will be more support pillars and that will come along the way. And of course, I'm going to need to add some more texture on this. And I think it's way more handier to first fill in the blank and then afterwards add like little rust and things that are broken down and that good stuff. Now also, I have decided the piping is going to need to go until here, and then very tightly against this support pillar there is going to be the very big towards disposal. All kinds of piping will come from left, right, forwards and backwards into this big main, and then it will be filtered, and then all of the other water will go through the piping out there into the ocean. Now I am going to need to find a way or an excuse in order to get onto this pipe, right? Because I've been saying it would be very cool if somehow, some way, this is like a little bit of a secret type of deal, which we are going to walk onto this pipe, onto like a plank, and then from this plank you're going to get into a beautiful overgrown flowers and trees and bees and whatnot kind of area. These are enjoying themselves a lot, and I really like this new type of blossom tree. It really adds a lot to this area with all of these falling leaves. It's really nice. I added some candles in the same color, which will just pop on once you get close enough. Yeah, I really love this. It's an amazing idea to add this into a cyberpunk type of deal, because mostly it is all buildings and electronicals and piping and whatnot. And to hide something in here, this is really awesome, right? Now we're going to create some more of these kind of deals hidden throughout the area. These areas are going to be, or need to be, accessible on a not easy way to say. This really needs to be like a secret spot. Of course, everyone can see if all of that leaves and whatnot, once they wander downstairs, or gonna go via the transport system. Because one of the transport system is going to be trains and, well, minecarts in this case, and minecarts will be movable throughout the area. This will create a little bit of movement, and Captain have also been saying I should do a little bit more with that in order to just create some movements. So then I was also thinking we could create a transport system which is no longer in use, and I have got a little bit of a nice story with that, which will also create in the end some more transport system. Now I've been saying that I wanted to have like a big ship right down here, which is no longer in use and, kinda in use now for like little houses or market stands, which all of a sudden I got the idea, what if we make a container ship? This container ship was used way back in the days to move containers down to this area when it wasn't that big of a deal just yet. And in these containers there are all kinds of goodies and whatnot. And then I was like, what if we make like some kind of a crane system that just unload these containers and move them along this way past the pipe, which I'm going to need to leave just enough space to walk underneath of it. And then, you know, somehow, some way, I'm going to need to think of a good excuse to move these containers to another spot. And in this another spot, containers will be unloaded, everything will be taken out. And then it might be an idea to make a different exit to this build. So where there will be another container ship where empty containers will be moved to, you know, because it will be a lot more easier if we can unload and load, to say. Something like that. I think it would be a nice excuse. And because it's... oh god, that is freaking loud. And because the system is no longer in use, I have an excuse to make a different system. So we're going to make use of more minecarts. There are minecarts with chests on them. Now for the transport system with parts, I'm going to make this pipe partly visible, because, you know, or else you cannot see the movements going on. And there are also going to need to be little stations around the area in order for people to hop on in and go out elsewhere. Which I have in mind, we're going to need to make like a little train station somewhere around here. Then it comes out, goes up, whatever, and then get into the piping. This piping will extend somewhere around here and then moves that way. I'm going to need to avoid the crane somehow, some way. This is going to give like a very nice view, especially when we are going to go into the train to go around the area. I'm not really sure where to go next, any other than we might need to make like another train station right around in this area and maybe make like a split up so you can go from that train station into the next area, to say. There are so many plans and ideas that can be done to this whole show, and maybe we are going to make another building right down here because the piping needs to be supported. And yeah, we're just gonna see how things go. Yeah, I'm so excited for this area. So in this case, the first thing that I would like to do is show you my idea of what I had in mind for this transportation system that is no longer in use. And I'm just going to grab a couple of blocks, give you a whole example of what I mean. Now, I've been messing around, of course, in my test design map, and I couldn't really figure out a way until I did how to make it. So basically what I mean by that is I'm going to need to make like some kind of a return system, which is going to make a lot of sense sooner or later. You just have to ignore the colors for now, right? So this transport system will look something like this. This is going to be all along the way like that, like a nice row. Going to need to do this the correct way, of course. And this will also give us another reason to make some depth into the building. And it's all going to make sense. There is so much stuff going on into my head for this whole project. But of course, there are things that I don't have anything for in my head just yet. This is going to be the whole idea. So we're going to have an upper transport system and a lower transport system. But this is just going to go into circles. Alright, so you have to imagine the containers will be picked up from somewhere around in this area. There will be like a system on the ship in order to move containers, and then the containers are going to be lifted up, right? I'm not sure just yet how far I need to go, but like I've been saying before, we might need to make like an extra tower or whatever in order to create a little bit of realism if it's about the weight. We're gonna have something like this in a 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say, right down here. This system will have roping that goes down in order to pick the container up from the ship. So you need to imagine this is one of the containers that has been picked up. Of course, I can make it look like it is in motion by lowering the container a little bit and just use something for a roping. But this container will be moved along the way this way to wherever it's going to need to be, right? Maybe right down here. We're going to make like a platform where it will be set onto. And then from here, you know, it might rotate the container this way and then go here and then lift it up within the building. You can create all kinds of different little things. Then from that moment, these brown little things will continue moving onto the rail and then go back up by the side up here, then move along this way, move along that way, in order to pick up another container. And on this way we can make like a nice train track going on that is going to go around in order to keep picking up containers. Now of course the system will be a little bit longer, right? Because the idea here was to have one container hanging just above the passage where you need to go to the secret garden, and on this way you can just pass about underneath it. And I think that would be a very cool idea to create something like this. We could have like 1, 2, 3, 4 containers. We just have to see how much space there is for this. Now for the other transport system, I just have to see how wide I'm going to make. Maybe I need to make like two-way system, which is, would be a nicer thing actually than have one-way system. In this case will be for people. And then in this case, this would be the idea for the transport system for people. We're going to have some nice lights going through the sky. We're going to see cars moving left and right and whatnot. But this is only going to be for the people itself. We can later on create like a different transport system which we can actually use. Minor carts with chests from the ship that needs to go all over the place. I think it would be a fantastic idea to see stuff moving about in the area. Now honestly, I am not really sure if I want to use this cyan stained glass or that I'm going to need to use something else in order to add a little bit more color to the spot. Now of course what I can also just do for a minute is just lay down a test track. So you're just going to say 1 down here and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe. That seems to be a little slow. I almost feel like 7 is too much. It needs to be right down here, which is not far off from number 4 though. That feels a little more, not like too fast. I want you to be able to at least see something in the surrounding area, I'm trying to say. I'm not looking for like a hyper speed type of deal. Alright, I think I have finally figured out what I want to do with it, so here you guys go. This is going to be the new Hypertube. And yes, in this case it is 2 ways, but in the end I'm going to do 1 way. The point is 1 track will be for the moving carts and the other track will be, let's say, like a private type of cartway for me, for you guys. Yeah. This green stuff here symbolized the arrow on which way it goes, and I thought, instead of using other lighter colors, why not just use a darker color? And I think this just fits in. It looks very different from anything else I've got down here, and it adds a little bit of darkness to it compared with all of the other blocks that we've been using so far, except for this one, dark wood, that one, etc. But for the overall, it's going to be against something light, so I figured out this would work the best. And of course, if you guys have feedback, you can always let me know. And this is how it looks like from within. I mean, it's not too bad. You can still look left and right. Get out. Get out. Oh, okay, doing things. But with a little bit of help, it looks way better, right? All the cards going 1 way. Alright, I'm happy with that. And I'm really happy with the comment, because moving stuff creates really, that it's alive in this area. And, we're gonna have like this transport stuff also going on with minecarts and chests in there. But before we're gonna go to all of that good stuff, let's first fix this whole container situation down here, because it's gonna be a thing of its own. And like I've been saying, I might need to create an extra pole. Now this extra pole doesn't have to be that crazy to say. It doesn't have to be like a big guy like that. We're just going to need to have something that is just wide enough in order to, hold this whole thing up. And I'm going to figure out a little bit of a length which would be reasonable for a ship. And I'm thinking, let's go to the editor map. Because right down here in the editor map, we have a lot more space to play around with stuff. And yeah, this is what you can, what is my example. And I didn't really think about, the sky being blue, wood being blue. So this is the 1-way system that I had in mind, and or the way how the containers are being lifted up with that system. Now, as you can also see in this map, the system is hanging underneath this thing down here, but in my map I don't have enough space, which you can also see right down here, in order to still pass this point. I think it will still be a lot of fun if you can go underneath the containers instead of having this down here blocking it basically, and also this is just about it. So yeah, that's just the whole reason why things look different. It's going to be a little bit of a pathway to move. I guess a pathway of 1 will be nice enough. So with other words, this will be outer edge of the ship to say. Then we're gonna have a pathway to walk. Then we're gonna have a container which will be 4, right? Then we might need to have a pathway to walk, or is it? No, I don't think we need to. We're going to need to have another. I think I want to make a row of 3 near each other. So another 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to need to add in another part of the ship like this. So this is how wide the whole ship will be. And then, like I've been saying before, just gonna act that at least most of the containers on this side are gone. These containers down here will, you know, fill in the sky for a bit, and then we can create like stuff. Now, of course, it might also be possible that one container down here is still standing, so we can create a little bit of a closed off area for that side. We're just going to need to see and play around with this whole ship type of deal, but at least now we know what kind of space we work with. So in this case, I don't want the ship to be, well, tied up. So we're gonna remove 1 over there. I'm going to add 1 there. I want to have at least a minimum space of 1 between in the walls. Navigation systems are very good in Minecraft. Which in this case, yeah, I think it will be perfect. Now, the crane pole doesn't need to be super big. Super, you know, stuff. Which in this case, it is 8 wide. I think I want to go for this design in a square, then go up until, you know, which is just enough in order to support the crane. Now, the only other thing that I am thinking about, but I think it could be easily solved, is with the transport pipe. So we're just gonna act like this is the pole. The transport pipe is coming from this way to say what we can do simply is just go around like this. Then the crane, you know, will be attached like this, right? This is an easy solution for that though. And so after a little while, couple of hours, I think it is finally done. Now, of course, this pole down here is low detail because I'm going to change stuff. Basically, it's the same story as that. So I only got this side done with stairways just to give you an idea of how it looks like. And I think this is kind of nice to see a little bit of something different than complete X's. Also, the top is looking like that, so it can support both of these railings right down here. And then, you know, these things can go along the track, go down here, go underneath, and then ready in position to pick up container. Now, I have already calculated right down here is going to be the rotating platform. So the crane will bring it onto here, then move away again. Then this crane will go down, pick up the container, stuff like that. And slash is I've calculated the amount of space that I got here, which I can still add like a couple of rows. I don't want to add too much, but in order to make like the captain bridge of the ship, I don't want to make the ship like too crazy. Right, then something like this in order to make the structure look a little bit stronger. And then I was like, maybe we can fix the wheel somehow, some way, which then that thing is going to be a little bit wider. That's okay. And it might be handy to take something here in order to match up with the wheel. I guess it's okay. We need to have another one, another wheel. And just have that like that, alright? It is Minecraft, you need to use a little bit of fantasy for that. Now for the bottom, it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to need to do the same, basically. The railing. But realistically, this will just fall down, right? Just not okay. What we can do, yes, is make it a little wider, because we do have the play space of making it wider, right? Or at least we have this one, what makes it wider, while we are using this to make it stronger, except No. The parts don't need to move. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. These parts don't need to move. But we could say like play space of 2. Or something like that. So no, that wouldn't be possible though. Like the problem I'm currently with is that if I want to make this work realistically, this thing needs to be a lot wider, because then I have some more play space, which I cannot do right now, because if I need to make it 4 wide, I'm gonna have a huge problem with, or maybe not actually. Well, yes, no. I mean, sure. I still have this, right? As tracked width. Track width. Then, and then this could still be the side, right? What I'm trying to create before. It wouldn't be too much of a problem. The container will be lower, by the way. It basically means that for the one on top, it's not going to matter. But for the bottom, it is going to matter, because now I can have this lift function underneath here, right? Without interrupting this. And now I can say connected like that. For you, I know you're trying to help, but please, I need to do this myself. And so now I can have this wheel rest onto the rail, and this thing can still go up and down. That is the whole thing I'm trying to create here. So that the wheel is not like floating in the air and cannot get derailed. Something like that. And you a lovely something there. Look at your eyes. Very good. Alright, so I've been fixing some containers and stuff. So let me just show you the result of what in the world all happened right down here. Now, I am happy. Partly, I still need to add in a little bit of details, which basically mean change some blocks for rusty blocks, broken down blocks, etc. Those kind of things. And or as you can see, I have changed the container. The reason why I changed the container is because if you place a whole block underneath and the whole block on top, I didn't find the container looking very attractive, so I decided let's do some half slab on the bottom as well on top, so the container looks way more flatter underneath and on the top of the door, and makes it look a lot nicer. And also I got to get a good use of the wood this time. Now, making text on the side was not really an option, and I've been messing around, and then I like, I'm going to add some more of this neon light type of deal, sci-fi. So why not add that to it? Now, if you guys have any other ideas what I could be adding to it, just let me know. I can always play around, test and see. You can mess around in your own Minecraft creative world, maybe make an example for me and put it down onto my Discord screenshot channel. That's also an option. So, overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Things start to work out. The rotating platform is start to work out. It's perfectly in the middle of the ship. And yeah, the only thing I'm not very happy with is, this down here. Obviously, it is... it is definitely a thing to try to think of how could this rotate around the corner and then go upside down. But yeah, I just thought... Let's just close that off a lot, or as much as possible, and you just need to use your fantasy imagination in order to decide what happens behind there. But yeah, overall, I am loving it. And it's also just enough. I mean, I've been saying there is like 1 block of play space between if I would make that one a little bit bigger, which in this case, I've been using that for the container underneath and on top. Yeah, it barely scratches each other. Now the next thing that is going to need to happen here is trying to figure out like what is going to happen next, because I can imagine this container needs to be tightly somewhere around here put down onto a platform, then needs to be moved about onto a rotator, or maybe not, just be placed here, and then a different type of crane will pick it up and move it about. I just have to see, because we don't have like endless space down here, which I actually don't mind. It's really fun to just try to cram in stuff and work with the space that we are having. So yeah, overall very good. And so it is nighttime and I got my RTX on, so we're going to see how it looks like in full glory. And it is not too bad, not too bad at all. I just need to see how it looks like into the pipe itself though, of the human transporter. But the container stuff, yeah, it looks very good. Very good indeed. More neon stuff on that side. Yeah, maybe I actually have been seeing there is also some sea light, and I'm going to need to add in some warm light somewhere, somehow, some way. But overall it starts to look good actually. Get into this. There we go. Yeah, we can't really see outside of it, but that's the whole RTX stuff. But in here, looks kind of neat though. But let's get back to normal mode. I'm just watching in the corner because I don't want you to get the bright lights right into your face. So let's do it like that. I got respect for your eyes. Yeah, anyway, this is how it looks like without RTX, right? This is how it's supposed to look in the first place with the Hyper tube. Yeah, it looks very nice. I'm really starting to love it a lot. Now, I've also got a plan for this point right down here. What I think I will do, now I can, is, first of all, let's take a couple of blocks here. I'm going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, long story short, what I think I will end up doing is not just move the tower up to the corner, but I'm going to add in another part of it right down here, and then simply remove the middle part, I'll guess. I just have to see. Yeah, this might be a more easy solution. Now, the only downside thing here is that I'm going to figure out what to do, because I can only place one stairways type of deal in here, but maybe I shouldn't be asking too much of it. Type of idea like that. So for the building, just have to see. I mean, there are so many different things you could do, which makes it absolutely even more incredibly good looking though. Now, of course, I'm also going to need to be careful to not build high up too much, and first just take care that the ground level of the island is done first, and then we're gonna move on to the next level, etc, etc. Now, if you guys have anything to add to this whole show, maybe something that could use a change, maybe you have some more ideas how we can make it more cramped up and cozy to say, then you can always let me know in the comment section down below. And then in this case, yeah, I have to do a lot of off-camera work. But this is just perfectly what I had in mind though, like covering up the sky, place stuff in the sky. I'm glad Captain Miseraji came with the idea of transportation, which added more ideas to the sky. And of course more storyline. Sooner or later we're going to need to make like a train station on this.